The Xbox Developer Direct gave us a lot of surprises. Last week, we reported that Indiana Jones could be coming this year, but we got to learn far more than that. And it seems that 2024 is shaping up to be the year that Xbox gets back into the fight against PlayStation. This week in gaming is all about the Xbox Developer Direct, so let's dive a little deeper. I'm Jesse from Voxel Smash, and this is the week in gaming. We'll start with the biggest story to come out of the Developer Direct, which is that we finally got to see the new Indiana Jones game. It's called Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it's coming out in 2024, most likely the holiday period. We weren't really sure what the game would play like, but it's a mix of first person and third person perspective. You play, fight, and solve puzzles all in first person, but then the game switches to third person when it's time for platforming. The game's main enemies seem to be Nazis, and the game is set during the timeline of the original trilogy, so we can forget that awful Shia LaBeouf one exists. There'll be huge set pieces, optional side puzzles, stealth elements, multiple pass-through levels, and it all spans huge levels spread across the globe. We were skeptical about the game up until now. This is looking like Game of the Year material, especially with Sony's lack of games this year. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming day one to Game Pass. Now, onto Avowed. This fantasy RPG has been out in the wild for some time, in the form of short trailers that have released, teased us all, but we finally have a release date. It's fall of 2024. After seeing more at the Developer Direct, you can mix and match spellcasting and melee combat, and you can customize your layouts so that you can make your own unique combat style on the fly. There are dialogue trees in the game with different options that affect the game's story and world. We didn't really see too much, and a lot of the enemies they showed were giant lizard bad guys, but we think this is one you'll want to keep your eye on, as it'll fill that huge fantasy RPG hole. Plus, in the Direct, we saw them shoot a guy with 2 flintlock pistols. It's also from the Outer Worlds developer Obsidian, so what can go wrong? The next big game we saw was Hellblade 2, and we finally found out that it's launching on May 21st, 2024. Got to see some typical cinematic Hellblade cutscenes, but for a game that's releasing in just a few months, it's surprising that we haven't seen more of it. The first Hellblade game was a surprise hit, and we're sure the sequel will also be good, but it's just hard to get excited about a game that we've been teased for years upon years now. Square Enix showed up to the Direct with Visions of Mana, which is slated to release in late summer 2024. It's an action RPG and the first mainline game from Square in 15 years. It looks like Pokemon meets Final Fantasy, so this is definitely one for those JRPG fans who love in-depth combat systems in lush open worlds full of character. But there's not much more to say on the game right now, other than with an impending release date, we'll likely get more information soon. The Xbox Developer Direct certainly surprised us. We thought it might tease a few things, but it turns out that with a focus on a slew of games coming this year, Xbox is shaping up to have an amazing 2024. This turns things on their head because PlayStation had a great 2023, but it just looks like tumbleweeds for this year. Now, let's turn to this week's video game releases. On January 18th, we have Ubisoft's latest Prince of Persia game, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. It's a Ubisoft original and can be played without prior knowledge of the series. We have a video review on the channel, so be sure to check it out. Also, on January 18th is the post-apocalyptic city-building strategy game New Cycle. If you enjoyed Frostpunk, you're going to want to check this one out too. Got a review with this one on the channel too, so take a look. January 19th sees Another Code Recollection release on Nintendo Switch. This is a remake of the beloved Another Code game from Nintendo DS. So adventure lovers, take note. And finally, for those of you in the mood for one of the best and most depressing games ever made, you can play The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered on January 19th as well. Are you excited to jump back into the world of Joel and Ellie? That's everything we have for you this week. I'm Jesse from Voxel Smash, and if you enjoyed this, then please like and subscribe to help keep the lights on. See you in the next one.